What if you looked at your bank balance, say, a year from today, and saw an extra $10,000 sitting there?
Hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, that's not just some pipe dream. It's actually the focus of our deep dive today. We've got this really practical guide here. It's aimed at people who, want to be smarter with their money.
And it lays out a pretty tangible path to saving that $10,000 within the next 12 months.
Exactly.
And what I think is particularly useful about this guide is, well, it kind of meets you where you are right now. It doesn't assume you're already some kind of financial whiz.
Right. No expertise needed beforehand?
Not at all.
Yeah.
So whether you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck or maybe you're juggling some debt, the strategy that offers, they're designed to feel manageable.
Yeah, not overwhelming, to give you a real sense of direction.
Exactly, without feeling like you need a finance degree to understand it.
Yeah, this isn't a high-level financial jargon, is it? The guide gets practical straight away. It starts with a powerful motivator,
hmm
really understanding why that $10,000 matters.
hmm It's not just an arbitrary number.
No, it highlights that it's a financial cushion. Something that can give you genuine peace of mind, maybe open up opportunities for more freedom.
Or even pave the way for future investments down the line.
Right. It's presented as this significant goal, but also, importantly, one that's completely attainable. So, our mission for you today is clear. We want to dissect these concrete steps.
So you can walk away from this discussion with a real, actionable plan.
A plan to hit that $10,000 mark within the year.
Okay, let's get down to the nuts and bolts then. The very first thing this guide really emphasizes is breaking down that goal, that $10,000 figure, which can feel pretty big.
It can feel huge, can it?
Yeah,
But this guide does a great job of making it feel less daunting. It shows you the smaller targets. So we're looking at roughly $833 a month,
okay, $833 a month.
which then breaks down even further to about $384 every 2 weeks,
Right.
or $192 per week. And here's the number that really puts it in perspective for me. It's just about $27.40 a day.
$27. That
Yeah.
feels doable.
Right.
Much more manageable.
And what's fascinating here is the psychology behind it. By focusing on these smaller daily or weekly amounts, the whole goal feels way less intimidating.
Definitely.
It's much easier to imagine making a few small tweaks when you're thinking $27 a day versus this huge, abstract $10,000 over a year idea.
Yeah, totally. And it lets you track progress more often, right? Get those little wins.
Exactly. Those small wins are powerful motivators to keep you going, keep you on track.
Okay, that makes sense. And that leads us perfectly into the second crucial thing the guide stresses, tracking.
Yeah.
Meticulously tracking where your money is actually going.
There's a really direct quote in the guide: "You can't save what you can't track."
Sounds obvious, but maybe it's not always put into practice.
It's so fundamental, but
Yeah.
yeah, often overlooked. How many of us really know where every dollar goes each month?
Guilty.
Right. So tracking isn't just about adding things up at the end of the month. It's about building this real-time awareness of your spending habits. So how does the guide suggest doing that? Apps, spreadsheets.
Yeah, both. It suggests using budgeting apps, mentions popular ones like Mint, YMB, or, even just a simple spreadsheet works fine.
Whatever works for you, basically.
The key is just consistency. Log
Yeah.
in your income and then every single expense, no matter how small. Don't skip the coffees.
Right, those little things add up. And the real benefit here, according to the guide, is the clarity you get from doing that.
Exactly. Once you have that detailed picture, you can start spotting the patterns.
Mm.
Identify those areas of spending that aren't really serving you.
The unconscious habits, maybe, or those recurring expenses just ticking away.
Precisely. Which leads us neatly into what the guide calls ruthless expense reduction.
Okay, ruthless sounds a bit intense.
Yeah, maybe a little extreme sounding, but the concept behind it is super effective if you want to save quickly.
So what does that actually look like?
Well, the guide gives a tangible example. It suggests that just finding ways to cut, say, $5 to $10 from your daily spending,
Yeah.
that can have a surprisingly big impact over a year.
5 or 10 bucks a day. Okay, I can see how that would add up.
And this is where it gets really practical because the guide offers some very specific, actionable ways to trim those costs.
Like what? Let's hear some examples.
Okay, think about subscriptions. Those ones that just auto-renew every month. Streaming services you barely watch.
Oh, yeah. Or apps you downloaded ages ago and forgot about. Gym memberships gathering dust.
Exactly. Those recurring charges just bleed money without us even thinking. And it's not just about canceling. Maybe it's about evaluating.
Hmm.
Am I really getting my money's worth here?
Good point. What else?
Well, the obvious one, food costs. Reducing how often you eat out or grab takeout, cooking more at home, packing lunches for work.
The classic advice for a reason, right? Because it works.
It really does. And the guide goes further. It suggests looking at downgrading things like your cell phone plan or internet if you're paying for more than you use.
Oh, interesting. Checking if you actually need that top-tier plan.
Yeah. Switching to generic brands for groceries, actively using cashback offers and coupons.
Being a bit more strategic about shopping.
Right. And even, this is a good one, unsubscribing from promotional emails to just remove that temptation for impulsive buys.
Ah, out of sight, out of mind. That makes sense. It's all about being more intentional with where the money goes.
Exactly. Now, managing expenses is like the foundation.
Yeah.
But the guide also shines a light on the other side of the coin, boosting your income.
Okay, so not just cutting back, but earning more too.
Yes, which is really empowering, right? It shifts the focus from just restriction to like proactive growth.
I like that. So what kind of ideas does it suggest for boosting income?
It throws out a pretty diverse range, actually. Things that cater to different skills and how much time you might have.
Like,
Well, freelancing, for example.
Yeah.
If you have skills in writing, graphic design, social media, maybe offer those services.
okay.
Or tutoring, coaching, if you're knowledgeable in a certain subject. Even just decluttering, selling unused items on places like eBay or Facebook Marketplace.
Right, turn clutter into cash.
And then for more immediate income, it mentions the gig economy. You know, driving for ride sharing, food delivery.
TaskRabbit, things like that, local jobs.
Exactly. Handyman work, assembling furniture, whatever skills you have. It also touches on longer-term side hustles, affiliate marketing, blogging, creating digital products.
Lots of options there. It's about finding something that fits your skills and schedule, I guess.
Yeah, identifying skills you already have that maybe you could monetize, even in a small way to start.
And the guide suggests a target for this extra income, right?
It does. It suggests aiming for an extra, say, $100 to $200 per week, which sounds achievable for many people.
Yeah, and that kind of consistent boost would really speed things up towards that $10K goal.
Absolutely. So once you start getting a handle on expenses, maybe bring in some extra cash, the next crucial step the guide talks about is automating your savings.
Automating. Tell us more about that. Sounds efficient.
It's super effective because it takes the willpower out of it, mostly. It leverages habit.
Okay, so how does it work in practice?
It's pretty simple, actually. You set up automatic transfers from your checking account straight into your savings account.
On payday, maybe?
Yeah, or weekly, whatever works.
Hmm.
The guide points out that even small amounts, like $25 or $50 a week, transferred automatically. They really add up over time. You barely miss it,
Set it and forget it, kinda.
basically. And I really like their pro tip here. Open a separate high-yield savings account.
High yield, so it earns a bit more interest.
Exactly. Better rates than standard savings, usually. And then give it a motivating nickname, like $10 K Fund or Freedom Fund.
Huh, I like that. $10K fund, a constant reminder right there in your banking app.
Yeah, it's a neat little psychological trick to keep you focused on the goal.
That's smart. Okay, so we've broken down the goal. We're tracking, we're cutting expenses, boosting income, automating savings. What's the next piece of this smart saver puzzle?
The next vital piece is having a clear framework for how you actually allocate your income. And the guide introduces a really well-known method, the 50-30-20 budget rule.
Ah, yes, 5-30-30-20. I've heard of that. Can you give us a quick refresher for anyone who isn't familiar?
Sure, it's a pretty straightforward guideline for dividing your after-tax income. So roughly 50% goes towards your needs,
You've been.
rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, essential transport, insurance, the absolute must-haves.
Got it. 50% on needs.
Then around 30% is allocated to your wants. This is the fun stuff, entertainment, dining out, hobbies, clothes you don't strictly need.
Okay, the lifestyle spending.
Right. And finally, the remaining 20% is directed towards your financial goals, primarily savings and paying down debt.
So that $10K goal fits squarely into that 20%.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that consciously prioritizing that 20% for savings within this framework makes a huge difference in hitting that target. It gives you structure for your spending decisions.
That does sound like a really practical structure, easy to grasp. Now, what about when income goes up, maybe from those side hustles or a raise at work? What does the guide say then?
That's where it brings up a really critical point. Avoiding lifestyle inflation, or sometimes called lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle creep? Sounds insidious.
It can be. It's that natural tendency we have to just spend more as we earn more. You get a raise, you buy a nicer car, or eat out more often.
And suddenly the extra money just disappears.
Exactly. So the guide's advice here is really direct. When you get that raise or a bonus or your side hustle takes off, make a conscious choice to save that extra money.
Instead of just letting it get absorbed into your regular spending.
Precisely. Don't immediately upgrade your lifestyle. They rightly point out this is a relatively easy way to seriously boost your savings without having to cut back elsewhere.
That makes so much sense. It's like found money you can funnel straight into savings without feeling the pinch on your current lifestyle.
Yeah, it's resisting that urge to automatically inflate your spending with every income bump.
Okay, great advice. So we got all these strategies now, but sticking with it for a whole year, that takes discipline. How does the guide suggest staying motivated and accountable?
Yeah, that's crucial for any long-term goal, especially financial ones. The guide offers several practical tips for this.
Like what?
One is using a visual savings tracker, like a chart you color in, or even just a simple printable where you can see the progress towards $10,000 growing.
Something tangible to see how far you've come.
Exactly. Another effective idea is sharing your goal. Tell a trusted friend or a family member, maybe join an online accountability group.
Having someone else know helps keep you on track.
Definitely. It provides support, encouragement, and that sense of, well, not wanting to let them down either.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, and this is important. Celebrate the milestones. Don't wait until you hit the full $10. Acknowledge hitting the first $1,000 or the halfway point at $5,000.
Give yourself a little reward. Or just acknowledge the achievement.
Yeah, recognize the achievement. It gives you that positive reinforcement, that boost of motivation to keep pushing forward.
So pulling it all together, it really feels like saving $10,000 in a year. While it sounds like a lot, it boils down to consistency, right? Implementing these manageable steps over time.
Precisely. It's not about some drastic overnight change.
Yeah.
The guide's final thoughts really hit this home.
What's the main takeaway there?
It's about cultivating a long-term commitment to sort of evolving your financial habits, not striving for perfection every single day or month.
Because life happens, right? Some months will be better than others.
Exactly. There will be fluctuations. You might save more one month, less the next, and that's okay. The key is the overall trend, the long-term commitment. Don't get derailed by small setbacks.
That's a really important reminder. It's the direction, not necessarily the speed every single day.
You got it. By setting that clear goal, breaking it down, tracking, budgeting smartly, looking for ways to trim costs and boost income, and automating, that $10,000 mark becomes very realistic for a lot of people within a year.
So for you, listening right now, maybe take a moment. Think about which of these strategies really clicks with you, with your current situation. What's one small step, one concrete thing you could do today?
Today.
Yeah, today, to start that journey towards $10,000. And maybe think about what could that financial cushion, that $10K, truly unlock for you in the long run?
That's a powerful question to ponder.